A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. Today's topic isn't going to be so important for some people, but for some of us, especially brand new preppers, this topic is going to be very important. Remember, you are ultimately responsible for protecting yourself and for providing for yourself. Live your life with honor and integrity, and always be the wolf hunter. Don't be the sheep, and never be the wolf. To the keyboard commandos out there that are itching to tell me what a bad job I did with my camo paint, relax. We're not at war, and I'm not in a hunting party. I did a quick job to give myself at least a little anonymity due to the mentally disturbed people on the internet and also my job. Now what I'm talking about is SHTF gardening, because gardening isn't as easy as a lot of non-gardeners may possibly think it is. And if your plan is to suddenly start becoming a gardener should SHTF happen, you may be setting yourself up for very catastrophic failure and even starvation. Now some people are lucky. They may have grown up gardening, or they garden a lot with their grandparents. And so gardening is like second nature to them. But for a lot of other people like me that's grown up in the city, before I started prepping, I was never exposed to gardening, and I've had to learn so much about it. Prepping is also so much more than just guns and gear. It's even more than just about putting back a bunch of dried goods. If you're really a serious prepper, then you really need to start learning how to SHTF garden now, because you'll be really surprised of how much there is to learn about gardening. Now, when I talk about SHTF gardening, I'm talking about gardening where you're using little or absolutely no store-bought fertilizers or anything else store-bought to assist you in your gardening. Because if SHTF happens, you're probably not going to be able to run to the store and go buy them. Since I started practicing gardening, and I want to use the term practicing because I'm still learning so much, but I've learned that you simply just can't till up some land and then just throw out some seeds and expect to get this big, rich, abundant garden. I've learned that soil really needs to be prepped ahead of time before you even garden, and that your soil needs to be nutrient rich. And you need to learn how to compost so you can replace those nutrients so you can replant your garden year after year after year and actually get produce out of it. This is especially true if you live in a suburb. Suburb soil has a tendency for a myriad of reasons to be really horrible soil for gardening. And if you have a retreat location, you may also want to consider starting to prep that soil now where you will garden at your retreat location should SHTF happen. And it may be a mistake to think that you're going to simply clear out an area to garden at your retreat location, because removing tree stumps and removing all of those roots, that's a lot of back-breaking work. So you want to do it now while you have the machinery and the fuel, and you don't have to worry about the noise discipline to do it now. And some of the other things that you're going to want to learn how to do and work at, one of them is going to be composting, and that's a whole other different topic and whole different video. But if you're going to garden, composting is an absolute must skill to learn and master. Another thing that you'll have to learn how to do is how to keep animals and other pests out of your garden so they don't eat up all of your vegetables. You're also going to want to learn which vegetables that you have to start out indoors as seedlings, and then also learn which vegetables that you can plant outside straight into the ground. You also need to learn how to harden those seedlings, because if you don't harden them between planting them inside and transplanting them outside, they'll just die off. You'll also want to learn how much more difficult heirloom seedlings can be, or seeds can be, more so than the standard GMO seeds that you buy in your grocery store. You'll also want to learn what times of the year is best for planting certain types of plants. You'll also want to learn how to plant herbs that may help offset food boredom. You'll also want to learn how to can and preserve your excess harvest. You'll also want to learn how to preserve and save your heirloom seeds from your harvests, because many of these seeds that from the normal seed packets that you buy out of the normal store, many of these seeds cannot be replanted year after year to continue your harvest. The first year that I started a garden, I just plowed up some land and dropped the seeds in, and I cordoned it all off and had it all perfectly planned. And the garden did real good starting out. I mean, it was just green and just really growing up high, and it was getting to the point I was having even a hard time walking through my garden because it was just blooming so good. And then all of a sudden, right before it was time to actually bear the vegetables or bear the fruit, all of a sudden it just turned brown and just died. And I learned very quickly then at that point that what I had dirt, and I didn't have soil. I didn't have the nutrient-rich soil that you need to plant a successful garden. My point is that if that was my first time gardening during SHTF, and if I was counting on that food to feed me and my family, I would have died. That was a very valuable lesson that I learned. Like I've said in previous videos, I want my dried long-term stored food to be enough for me to last me and my family for well over a year, and definitely enough time to get us through a long and hard and cold winter. But I want my dried food to help me through the initial emergency, and then for any other emergencies after that, like if I have a failed harvest. But I want my garden food, my sustainable food, to complement my long-term food, and vice versa, my long-term food to complement my garden food or my sustainable food. Of course, gardening isn't the only method for having sustainable food. It's just one aspect of it. One of the things I'm wanting to start delving into next in my prepping journey is livestock, where I can get meat and eggs and even manure to help make my soil for my garden more nutrient. And folks, this video isn't supposed to cover all aspects of gardening. It's just simply supposed to be a warning to people that think that if SHTF happens, that they're just simply going to go out and till up some land and throw some seeds down and end up with a good garden that they can feed themselves and their family should SHTF happen. And folks, this video is just my opinion. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I imagine SHTF as being probably due to a financial collapse that's been caused by something else, but none of us know how SHTF is going to happen or what will cause it. You know, whatever brings on SHTF may not allow me to garden. Maybe nuclear war where the fallout happens and it just ruins the soil. You know, gardening may, during SHTF, gardening may attract unwanted attention, even if it's hidden from the common eye. But those are all what ifs, and I just feel like it's better to go ahead and learn now and to be able to adapt and overcome now while there's a learning curve, when I make a mistake that I can go ahead and go to the grocery store to get food to feed me and my family. But me, I'm still learning. I've made a lot of mistakes with my gardening. I'm still having a hard time transplanting seedlings without using the store-bought chemicals. I'm still having a hard time learning how much shade to give them each day and building it up to harden them before transplanting them. I even had to go ahead and buy store-bought tomato plants this year. And I'm still learning when to plant certain vegetables, at what times of the year. I'm still learning how to compost. I'm still learning how to, still learning all about heirloom seeds and how much harder they are than normal store-bought seeds. I'm still going to be learning on how to preserve and save those seeds. So every year I learn more and more about gardening and mistakes that I've made. And I urge you, especially if you have limited knowledge on gardening, and especially if you rely on store-bought fertilizer or store-bought seedlings that you're able to automatically just plant straight into your garden, I really urge you to start learning and start actually practicing SHTF gardening now. You need to learn from your mistakes now while you have a grocery store that you can go to still get food to feed your family. Because during SHTF, a failed garden may mean your death. Folks, I hope that you found this video to be useful and informative, especially some of you brand new preppers. And I'm going to ask of you experienced preppers, you comment below with some of the tips and the tricks that and the knowledge that you've learned over the years of gardening, of what's helped you with being a successful gardener. And brand new preppers, I really urge you to look at the comments below and see what some of these other experienced gardeners have, what they posted that really helps them get good harvests. I really want this channel to be where we really learn from each other, where this channel is a good source for good information for brand new preppers and even experienced preppers. And also please consider subscribing to this channel, as I plan on making many more videos like this down the road as time permits. And if you made it this far, folks, thank you very much for watching, and I pray that you have a good night.